Parashat Vayeishev. Very, very interesting parasha, and we're going to see many different topics, but the main one will be the topic of loyalty.
He's back in Israel.
Who? Yaakov is back in Israel.
Better.
We're going to see, of course, we're going to see the idea of loyalty. I'm going to see the problem of misjudgment, misjudging people. So we're going to start off. Now we see Yosef. He's Chazak, like you brought up, the Vayeishev Yaakov. He went and he stayed in the land of Israel. Finally, in the footsteps of his father.
He wants to relax or something.
Very good. So
Rashi says he's not supposed to relax.
Exactly.
No?
So it says that this time he said now time is now I got old, everything's good. I got rid of Laban.
I want to chill a little bit.
Got rid of Esav. Now I'm gonna go and relax. Chasing me. Very good. So it says Rashi brings there that you wanted to relax, and then it says that what you want to relax in this world and in the next world. So he got the trouble of Yosef. Now, of course, it doesn't mean that a person has to suffer in this world in order to get the next world. However, with the tzaddikim, they get judged by the kechut ha'se'ara, by what's it called, the air by less than a millimeter, right? And therefore, here's breath. And therefore, Yaakov, now he had a very big test of Yosef. Now let's go into it a little bit about Yosef. So first of all, we have to see, why was Yosef the favorite? Because we know the Torah clearly says, no, just some notes that I took. But it says that why was Yosef now the favorite? There's a few reasons why. And not only was the favorite, it's clear verse in the Torah. Yaakov, he loved Yosef. And the brothers, they saw this, and the brothers hated Yosef because of that. So one of the reasons is, he was Ben Zikunim, he was born in his old age. And usually this is with parents, when they have a baby, and he's like always the baby's the favorite in the family.
Yeah, this is the opposite.
This is the rule. No, but even Yosef was the baby, right? There was Binyamin after him. He was the few, but
Binyamin was the youngest.
So he was the Bechor of Rachel, but he came after all the children of Leah. So he was really like he was very special. He was also the firstborn of Rachel. And the Torah already said that Yaakov loved Rachel, and therefore, the most. So therefore,
the before of his best,
of his favorite wife. And then also it says that he was learning with him Torah. They were learning Torah. He was very sharp. He had a very good head. So it was very good. And also they had very similar faces. Imagine you look at your daughter, you look at Eliezer, and he looks exactly like you. It's not automatically, there's a favoritism there. So what did he do, Yaakov? He loved his son. He went and he prepared for him $5 garment, a little tunic. Was some say it was multicolor, some say there's a midrash that comes and says it was from Esav, but let's say we go with the simple pshat that he went and he made it for him. He made it for $5. He went and he spent, and he made it a little tunic. Big problem here, my friend, Yaakov Naftali. But for $5, all the brothers are going nuts. And the idea is very simple: is that it doesn't matter what the father gives. The father can give something worth 5 cents. But the fact that the father went and he picked one son to give over everybody else, and this started with jealousy. And the Gemara goes so far to say that if it wasn't for the favoritism of Yaakov, we would not have been in Galut in Egypt. We have very strong words about this. No, so meaning that he was bearing that responsibility.
How could he pick one son over another son?
So the Zohar actually gets into this, and he says that it was not so simple, really, that it was the right thing to do. Like we see about Abraham. Abraham, he went and he picked Yitzchak. We see with Yaakov. He picked Yitzchak instead of Ishmael.
Ishmael was no good. He knew he wasn't good.
Right, exactly. Right. So
here everyone had a lot of options.
Right, exactly.
All Torah fearing, all good boys, all everything.
Right. So if we go with the pshat, it also goes that now we're going to learn about the lesson. So this was not something good to do, and even the Gemara says you shouldn't go show favoritism. So now if you're going to give a present to your children, or after you someone writes a will, whatever they do, don't start making any funny business there. Everyone it should be happy, and they should not be fighting for that. So we see here, just for this question. Now, why did they hate Joseph? Because we see that he was the favorite. So we hate you. But now there was an even bigger reason that they hated him. Why? Because now, there's, when you build your case, it cannot just be one thing. It has to be more arguments. So it's not enough you show up in front of the judge. Well, he's your brother. Yeah, he's my brother. So since he's my brother, I cannot just bring he loves him the most. So the other thing is that Yosef spoke bad about his brothers to his father. Now, it's very important, and this is everything in life. And that's why it's all a matter of perspective. That's why in life, when you do business, when you do everything, and I'm the first, especially after this last week, to really put things in perspective and put yourself in someone else's shoes. So there was three things that he accused the brothers of. First thing was shchita. So the brothers eat from animals without shchita. They go and they eat. And then the second thing that he said that the brothers, they call the other sons of Zilpa and Bilhah, they call him the maid servant, the son of the servants, the slaves. And also, which was wrong because it really they're not we'll get into it, but they were not really the maid servants because as soon as they had to get married, there's no such thing as you just go with a girl. They got married with the Zilpa and Bilhah, so they were freed from being the maid servants, and they were. Of course, yes, but I mean, they were even when they're maid servants. The halacha says that if let's say you have a servant, the servant has to go to the mikveh and everything. You have now a slave. The slave shows up. I don't want to go to the mikveh, my friend. That's it. So they said that you had to pressure him. So you would tell him, look, if you don't go to the mikveh, I'm going to sell you there I'm going to sell you there back to where you come from. So then he would be scared and he would go to the mikveh. Like we said, that Igma said, whoever bought himself a slave, he bought himself a master, right? Because it's not so simple to have a slave. So now the second thing that he did was,
that's the second thing.
No, so the second thing is that he called the maid servant, the other brothers. So for Yosef, it was like you're mistreating the other brothers. We're all 12 brothers, and we all have an equal share in the Shvatim. And the third thing he said that he saw them speaking with a woman, with women. So Knani a woman. So they're like, oh, look, you speak with a woman, so it's not proper. I'm not sure you speak with a woman. And this applies even today. His secretary, this one, hey, how are you? Something is difficult. It's difficult today. But one of the halachot actually, just to know the halacha is good to know. Even if it's difficult today, but just to go and call someone by the first name and being very friendly, hi Jessica, how are you? Everything. Just this, already from the halacha perspective, it's already wrong on the wrong. It's better to go, Mrs. this, Mrs. that. Now, it's difficult today, but if we know this, then at least we should know that just laughing around, going for lunch, doing all these kinds of things. This is what leads, of course, to many sins, many problems in life. Now, those three things you want to speak to his father. Now, according to Yosef's eyes, it's all true. I see with my eyes. So then, when he went, after his father told him, go check on your brothers, let's see what's happening. They saw him from far and they were saying, look at this guy, he's coming with his dreams. He had one dream, he went and he was about all the sheaves of wheat to bow down to him. And then the next day, another dream with the sun, the moon, and the stars bowing to him. Look at this guy, who does he think he is? Yeah, this guy. And he comes, and not only that, he has a tunic. He has the tunic on him. He has the chutzpah to come with his clothing. So they were like, well, what are we going to do with it? So they just said, we're from Shimon, okay, let's kill him. And then they were arguing. Then Reuben said, no, we cannot kill him, he's our brother. So they went and they put him inside the pit. They finally got him, and they took him, threw him in the pit, and they took his clothing. And
when they dip it in the blood and all that stuff.
Right, very good. So then they threw him in the pit, and then they left him there. And then Reuben, it says that he, in his mind, was, we'll put him in the pit. When no one looks, I'm going to go and take him and I'm going to bring him back to daddy. So that was the plan. And Reuben, for whatever reason, wasn't there. Some opinions say that it was his turn to go and be with his father, to go and take care of everyone. Every day there was a son that was with the father. Right? So that day was his turn. So he wasn't there. He couldn't go back to the place. And in the meantime, they said, how are we going to have blood in our hands? Let's take him and we're going to sell him to the Goyim. Now, when they sold him to the Goyim, they took it down and they did shchita. And he saw that they did shchita. And they took the blood of this animal that did shchita, and they went and they put it on the garment. This was midah k'neged midah. You thought we didn't do shchita, but we did do shchita. And really the case where you saw us was the ben pakua. Ben pakua is an animal that when you do the shchita, let's say the cow is pregnant. So you do the shchita. Now there's a baby inside. Now the baby, according to halacha, is 100% kosher. You don't need shchita, nothing. It's kosher. It's like it was like a part of the animal. You're not going to say now you have to do the shechita to the liver, to the heart, to the lungs. No, everything's kosher.
People eat that? No.
Yes. So now, there's a derabanan on it that you cannot just go and eat it because people are going to think that you eat an animal without shechita. But but let's say without going into this, let's say according to the law, there's no problem to eat this from this animal. So the first answer was that they were eating from this Ibn Pakua. So he saw what you saw was 100% true. We're eating an animal without it. But you don't have the full picture. That's why don't jump into conclusion. Don't jump and make a whole story up in your head when you don't have all the facts. So just relax and don't get into it. That was the first thing. Also, it says that when you see people, let's say especially people that are supposed to be good or supposed to be, let's say, righteous, so to speak, you always have to find a way to find maybe there's probably something behind it. Don't jump right away to accuse them. The second thing was he said were calling the maidservants, the slaves. They said they weren't being in a bad way, just the name. It's like you're the son of Yehudi. So I call you Ben Yehudi.
Yeah, but she's not a maid.
But that's your name. No, so the son of Zilpa, right? The son of the maidservant. So when he was saying this, so he saw it as insult, but she didn't. But they weren't insulting it. It's also a perspective thing. And it says the same thing that he thought that they were insulting him. So he said, "Oh, you're calling them slaves." So he was called a slave. He was sold as a slave, and then he was called also a slave. And then the last thing was what? He was saying, his brothers are talking with the woman. But what were they doing? They were doing business. Business you're allowed. Not just to schmooze, you want a coffee, how are you? La beans, all these things, the modern stuff. All this is completely useful. But now, for business, if she wants to buy something, or you want to buy something from her, there's no problem, right? And therefore, he saw this, that even in business, you shouldn't do it. And he went and he talked bad about them. And then what happened with them exactly? He accused his brothers of going for the woman. The woman came after him, the wife of Potiphar. So we see everything was midah keneged midah. Exactly what you do in life is what you're going to get. Now 1 inch more, 1 inch less. And something beautiful from this we see in the Parashat. We have a big question here. Now imagine, put this in your mind now, Yaakov Naftali. Now, imagine you're Yosef. Right now, you're 17 years old. You're a nice-looking boy. You're a big Talmid Chacham. Your father loves you. You come from a royal family. Business is booming. Everything's great. Now, your brothers, they all come together, all 10 of them. Even the kids of Bila and Zilpa. What's happening with them? Where's their loyalty? Huh? Yeah. What happened with them? 2 minutes ago, Yosef's defending them. And actually, it says that for a few reasons, they wanted to get rid of Yosef as well. Because he thought, if Yosef now he's the head and he has his dreams and everything, what if his dreams happen? Then we might be like Esav and Ishmael. That all the kids are no good, only one is good. Only Yosef is going to be good. So even for that, they were scared. So now Yosef is there. All his brothers, they decided to sell him for a pair of shoes. First of all, they wanted to kill him. Then they throw him in the pit. Then they decided to sell him for a pair of shoes. It says for 20, it says put it in the Torah for 20 shekel, 20 silver shekel. It was sold. It was enough for each one to buy a pair of shoes. For a pair of shoes, they sold their brothers. Now Yosef is there. He sees that he's being sold now for 20 shekel. He sees everything's gone. Now what the Torah tells you, be careful. Who was there? It was a wagon of Ishmaelim that had very good smells, spices. That it had a good smell. It had what's the good smell? I don't know. It was the Armani. Some Armani. It was some good stuff. So what's the question, Yaakov Naftali? What's happening? It's a big issue here. What's the guy just lost all his business. Everything went bankrupt. That's it. He's done. Now you tell me, look, here's the perfume. Here's a bottle of cologne. There's an issue here. What's happening? Well, we're wasting all the Torah, adding extra lines just to tell us it was smelling good. And not only that, it was in Ishmaelim. Usually they deal, even since then, they deal with oil, with tar. So there was no oil and tar. It was nice smell, good smell, spices. The answer is very simple. The answer is, and when HaKadosh Baruch Hu judges someone, he judges them exactly to the T, exactly to what he deserves. No 1 inch more, 1 inch less, nothing. Even the smell, the fact that you're going to be now for 20 hours and going from one place to another for 3 days, let's say, just with the bad smell, you don't deserve that. To get sold, we made the calculations, you deserve that. If you have this bad smell, you don't deserve that. And that's why when in life, or in a bad situation, I talk for myself, we're in a bad situation, we feel that, oh, why should this happen? Why this didn't go? What this didn't do? We should stay Gamzo Tova. We should say, thank you, Hashem, because this is exactly the best possible outcome that Hashem decided for me. Very good. Now, Yosef, where does he end up? He ends up now in Potiphar's house.
Which is Mitzrayim.
Mitzrayim. Now he shows up in Mitzrayim. And now he goes works by Mr. Potiphar. And all of a sudden he becomes the head. And that's the chidush. When you do business, this is a very good advice. Try to always do business with good people. If you do business with good people, there's going to be bracha in this business. And this is, we see this with Yosef. That Yosef, business was booming. Now Potiphar, everything's good. Why? Because he got a blessing. Because of Yosef. Because of Yosef, now everything comes. There's no Yosef, there's no blessing. On everything. Everything was booming. Now Yosef became the head. Now Yosef, he shows up there. And it said that they made a very big party. There was a day of Avodah Zarah. This is called the Nilus Festival. Okay, everyone goes to the night. Everyone does the Avodah Zarah there. It's a national holiday. All the stores are closed. Everything is closed. You want to find something, you're done. Yeah, that's this. Everything's done. You have a flat tire. Very good. Now, Yosef, what does he do? The Torah says, it says that Yosef went and continued to work. He continued to work. And this is to show the seed of Yosef. What is Yosef? Yosef can be defined as loyalty. Yosef is loyal. When you have a worker, everyone's looking, everyone's there partying, everyone's going to know. There's no cameras, there's no nothing, there's no cell phones. No. Yosef, what does he do? He goes and he does his work. Like nothing happened. Yesterday, I had to do my work. Of course, I'm not going to go now into a place of Avodah Zarah. Today, I'm going to continue my work. But no one's looking at you. Who cares? You can steal from your boss. You can trick around. You can go for lunch another 25 minutes. You can go and add more hours here and there. You can do all kinds of shticks. No, you go on your phone. You know how it is. You have an employee, they go on their phone. The second you walk, okay, what's happening? It's okay. So, you see yourself, this is a very important point, loyalty. And from this act of being loyal, no one's looking, no one's going to know. You're being loyal, this is what makes him that you can go in front of the king. And that's what the Gra says. It's very interesting. It says the whole idea of someone, the whole reason why someone is here is tikkun hamidot. How you treat people. What is your personality? And if a person doesn't have a good personality with his mother, with his neighbors, with his friends, the way that he speaks with them, the way that he's thankful to them, then all this is worth nothing. Why? Because he cannot have any relationship with Hashem. He's bad with all those people. It says that for someone, whoever's going to speak to the Lashon Hara, that's why we should never open our mouths to say bad things. Criticize. Oh, look, it's snowy outside. Look, it's raining. You know, the people that complain, they'll complain all the time. Never happy. It's going to be the summer. Look, it's too sunny here. Look, it's too hot. Never happy. Then go to Florida. Everyone dreams of going to Florida. They go to Florida. It's too hot here. I went in August. It was great. Now someone tells me, hey, how do you go in the summer? You have to be crazy. Are you nuts? So, but what do we see here? Something very important is that the person is going to criticize everybody else for the season and everything. Eventually, Chas v'Shalom is going to criticize Hashem. He's going to think, whoa, why is this like that? Why is it like that? And he's going to be able to criticize. And that's why a person has to go and test himself with these relationships. And there's a story that Rabbi Vidimir was bringing. He said there was one guy, he was paying since 1970 till like 2000, $38 rent. The guy, you know how it is. When it's controlled renting, and you're done, nothing to do. You have let's say in modern days, you have 5.5. The guy's paying $250 when you can go for $2,500. So you're like, wow, look at this guy. Now this guy not only he does he pays only $250, and everyone is paying high. This guy complains, calls la régie every day. Hey, it's not painted here. Hey, my freezer only freezes till 10, but I want it to freeze till 20. Hey, my oven is good, but I want also an oven for this and that. Complains. There's a crack here. Calls the city inspectors on you. So this guy is a big criminal. But this guy could be davens every day. It could be that he learns every day. It could be as a family, everything. But in this test, what happened in this case? The guy said it was $78 a month, and he was giving the landlord the most problems, calling in, sending in emails, making his life miserable. One day, the landlord had enough, and it said that he had like a heart attack and he just died. Getting letters from the I don't know what they have there from the regie every day, and you have to pay this, and you have to pay that, and you have your mortgage. And everyone thinks just because you're a landlord, business is booming, but you have a mortgage to pay. It doesn't work like that. Now 5% interest, right? So now this guy, maybe for himself, because he was telling Rabbi Miller, "Look, I'm a great guy." Rabbi Miller in his head, he was saying, "You're such a nebach. You're nothing. You're a loser. That's what you are." Why? Because you did not fulfill this test of fixing your midot. It cannot be that you're perfect with Hashem and everyone hates you. It cannot be. It has to go together, like we said many times. If everyone loved you, that's a great time that Hashem is going to love you. You love Hashem. If everyone hates you, that means you're a crook. There's no in between. And this is the test with this guy. This guy was paying $78. He made the other guys miserable, and made him up as a problem, and he was a malshinim, right? Malshinim is a guy who reports to the authorities. He calls the police every day. Hey, I see the guy's garbage is out. Very good. Now, we're going to go a little bit back to the loyalty of Yosef. Yosef is loyalty towards his master. Because what does he say? See two things. He says to Potiphar, to the wife of Potiphar, he said, I cannot do the sin with you. It's not wait, why did she decide to do the sin? That day, he decided not to be a big tzaddik.
The day of the big denial.
That's it. That was the only day. Imagine you look at the calendar. The best thing in life is to be busy. When you're busy, there's no problems, right? There's no cheating. There's no fighting. There's no drinking and ruining your life in 5 minutes. In office parties, all these nonsense. You got office party. He went with a girl. That's over. Office party, 2 hours. He waited 40 years to build his life. In 2 hours, that's it. He's done. What's wrong with this guy? That's the problem. That's the issue in life. It's very hard. It's very hard to build, and it's very easy to destroy. Now, this Yosef, this wife of Potiphar showed up, all nice and fancy, and she said, "Look, nobody's here. Don't worry. It's going to be great." She wants to do an agara with him. What does he tell her? Well, how can I sin against my master? You're his wife. How can I sin against her, against him? And how can I sin against Hashem? But he brings both. He said, how can I be unloyal to my master?
He's not married.
No, he's not. But she's married. He's not married, so he has no problem. But she's married. You cannot go with a married woman. It's the worst sin of the Torah. So he tells her, how can I go against this? So we say again, this idea of loyalty doesn't matter. No one sees, no one knows. Hashem knows. And even if Hashem knows, what did he say? He said, they didn't only tell her, oh, Hashem, I can't do this against Hashem. I can't do this against my master.
That's the loyalty part.
Loyalty. Now, just to link this a little bit with the Parashat, with Hanukkah. What does that do with Hanukkah? So we see that Matityahu Kohen Gadol was also exactly the same thing. That to be able to be the man of the situation, to do like Yosef HaTzadik, to do like Matityahu Kohen Gadol, that went and started the war against the Greeks, and it was incredible things that happened during this time, that for over 200 years we were able to maintain power, and that the oral Torah was able to flourish, the Jewish communities were able to flourish, all because of the civil war that he did. But what gave him the courage? Because he was loyal to his family, loyal to his community, loyal to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and all these things together made him that he's able to show up at this moment. That's why he says, Mila Hashem Elai, who is with Hashem? Come with me. Because it was only about this loyalty, and it's only when you build yourself up to this moment that you're able to go and reach this level. And that's why it was written in the, it was interesting because I saw this about the ladder. Remember, you were asking about the ladder. So it was saying that the ladder, Sulam Akta, so the Sulam was in the bottom, right? And it was all the way up Shamayim, all the way up to Shamayim. So he said,
going up and down.
Exactly. So he said, what does this show? It shows like Matityahu and Yosef. Matityahu and Yosef, they were on the bottom, right? They were in this world. But when all the way to Shamayim, is that all their actions are related to their service of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to their loyalty to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So it's not that the only here is that everything was directly going to Shamayim. And that's why when a person is tested in life, now, person goes to eat by his parents, right? The mother went, she prepared, she gave him a nice meal. Now he does a motzi, with all the kavanot, the Hashem, a motzi lechem min haaretz. Right? Thank you, Hashem. Blessed is Hashem, who makes the bread come out of the ground. But he forgot one big thing. What did he forget?
To wash.
No, he washed. He did everything. He washed 3 times, and he washed like this to make sure there was no water. Everything perfect, clean. And then Birkat Hamazon, wow. Now there's one thing he forgot. What did he forget? He forgot to say thank you to his mother. Now the issue is what? Is that everything he did is worth almost, I won't say zero, because nothing is worth zero. Because Hashem, he sees us. But the fact
he gets a bit of credit, though, to say for all his
a little bit. But the problem is that, like we said, if a person is not going to be grateful or good towards that's why the example of the parents. Look, the parents. If now you're not grateful to the physical parents who created you, they made you. They had a decision together. They loved each other, and they created you. Now, for whatever reason, whatever they did for you, whether they're good, it's not good. Whether they gave you money, they don't give you money. Whether they talk down to you, they don't talk down to you. Whatever it is, you have a mitzvah obligation to respect them, to honor them, to love them, to fear them. Why? Because he created you. Now you're going to tell me, no, my parents, you don't know my parents. My parents are the worst parents in the world. You don't know them. When I was in high school, everyone had a brand new car and I only had a Volvo. What do you think I look like? Okay, this is the modern parents, right? But let's say now we go other parents. My father, he beats me up. He talks down to me. He wasn't good to me. Nevertheless, you're not allowed to go and disrespect your parents. Not allowed to go. And now the problem is what? Is if you're going to do that, and disrespect and go against your parents, then you can never be close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's impossible. It's impossible for you to act a certain way in this world. It's impossible for you to talk bad about people, to talk bad about your brothers, to be a bad person, to not be honest in your business. It's impossible for you to
have the right connection.
Exactly. It doesn't work like that. So for you to have the right connection, you need to have the right connection with people. But it goes hand in hand. Now you cannot say, I'm going to be good with people, but I forget about HaKadosh, because then you forget the whole point. But at the same time, you cannot have one without the other. So that's the message here of Hanukkah. Do you have any questions on this?
I like all these parshas now. They're the best.